I have a huge pleasure in asking Craig Beresford to stand while I introduce him to you. Craig is an alumni of Kingston University, and he is, as you are, an engineer. Craig has had a very, very good career as a structural engineer, and above and beyond that, has actually dedicated huge time to supporting and nurturing talent, and particularly talent that he finds in new graduates, people just like you. Now, Craig has told me that he had a really memorable time at Kingston University, and I promised him I wouldn't say too much about this, but it's just too good to resist. He's told me some wonderful tales about slightly inebriated adventures in very small cars, and also about a group of civil engineers who magically managed to find a way to walk on water. Now, I'm sure he won't tell you too much about that in his inaugural speech. However, I'm sure he will give you a fascinating insight into his career as an engineer and of why he thinks nurturing talent like the talent you clearly have is very important. Pro Vice-Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Craig Beresford.
Firstly, I'm married. I didn't marry a student from Kingston, and I never thought I'd be here today, but here we are. So, firstly, may I give my thanks to Professor Rhodes and Dr. Jones for inviting me to join you all on this very special day. I do remember my time here, which was now nearly 40 years ago, and I have, as Dr. Jones said, many business friends who also passed through this great institution of learning and education. My own graduation was many years ago, but my experience at Kingston helped me on my way in a career as a civil and structural engineer. For you, the journey begins now and today, so I congratulate you all on your success and achievement as graduates of Kingston University. Round of applause. I am a civil engineer who turned into a structural engineer who turned into a businessman. I still do engineering. I think it's really important that you continue to do that all the way through your working lives. And I appreciate that many of you are graduating in other subjects today, but I hope that what I have to say will be valuable irrespective of the nature of your future work. So my own career began as a site engineer before I joined Waterman. I've now worked at Waterman for 35 years, and I'm often asked what has kept me there, and am I happy? And the answer really comes from the satisfaction that was created by the evolution of my career. From the beginning as a junior graduate engineer to now being one of 4 people responsible for running a 100 million turnover business and having a productive relationship with a number of clients delivering their projects, I've overcome many challenges, and I now feel respected amongst my friends in the industry. And it is an industry full of deep and lasting friendships. It's been far from easy, but on the whole, a great experience and very rewarding. So what drives a person to realize their ambitions? For me, events, people, and objects have all motivated me. There's only another 30 pages. All right. Sources of inspiration have changed throughout my life, and at different times, different things had a positive impact. When I was 10 years old, man landed on the moon. What a tremendous feat of engineering, and who'd have thought 50 years ago that this could happen? We didn't have a colour television, let alone a computer, and yet these are part of everyday life today. Change happens quickly, so we have to adapt and evolve to keep ahead. As a civil engineer, the motivation for designing places for people to go about their lives is a major source of inspiration. The natural world is wonderful, but the destruction caused by events such as tsunamis, earthquakes, and fire, and how communities can pull together to rebuild lives in the wake of these is amazing. Such strength in the face of adversity. Objects for me, of course, include buildings, and I'm fascinated by the ancient as well as the modern. So everything from pyramids to today's modern buildings such as the Shard, the Cheese Grater, and buildings such as Europier at Heathrow and Angel Court in the City of London, and currently a new hospital in Victoria that I personally have helped to create, are to me also wonderful. Inspirational people. There are so many. These could be great people like Einstein, James Dyson, or Bill Gates to the modern world. But also, to me, humble people like my old boss, Arthur Austin, who none of you would ever know, but he mentored me and guided me and helped me to achieve my ambitions. So we never stop learning, and the things that motivate and inspire us change as we gain more knowledge and experience. In our early years, we rely on and learn from others, and as we get older, whilst we continue to learn, others learn from us. Never forget that there is likely to be someone who knows more about something than you do, or who can influence your thinking by injecting new ideas. There is no room for complacency or arrogance in a teamwork environment. Life in science and engineering is complex as many people come together to deliver a project. Everyone in the team plays their part, and each new project offers the opportunity to achieve more in the future. One of my most personal, inspiring moments involved a project many years ago at London Bridge, where the client asked the team to work with an eminent architect called Philip Johnson. He was based in New York. Every month we all went to New York, paid for by the client, which was exciting, but it was also very expensive. And he realized that by taking us away from the normal environment, we could be much more creative and productive as a result. The key to this was having an open mind and using our imagination to think laterally and to challenge the norm. For me, it was great to meet Mr. Johnson and to see how he relied, even with his eminence, how he relied on people to deliver his vision. Even someone of his presence was truly a team player. So as you progress in your careers, don't be afraid to communicate. Weigh up situations and think about how to convey your ideas in a constructive way. In 1992, as a young engineer, I was fortunate to work with Richard Rogers Partnership Architects on the project I mentioned, the Europier at Heathrow. I'd never met Lord Rogers, but one day I was invited to lunch by the project architect at their studio. I thought, how exciting, and I arrived and walked in to be greeted by all of the senior partners of the practice, including Lord Rogers, and I was probably 25, something like that. Quite a daunting moment for a young engineer. So the saying, there's no such thing as a free lunch, is quite true. And in front of the prestigious gathering, the project architect began to draw the entire project on the white walls around me. It was beautifully hand-drawn in felt pen using many colours and perfectly to scale. And he'd obviously done this many times before. He was very eloquently describing the proposed architecture and the function of the project. After some discussion with his partners, he then handed the pens to me and said, Craig will now explain the structure. I was horrified, totally unprepared, but I had to get on with it. I survived and I did reasonably well, but it taught me a lot about my own abilities. And after that, I made sure in my mind that I knew what I would say to describe the work we were doing. And I also carried felt pens. And I was never afraid to stand up and create a story around the work that I was presenting to my audience. So planning ahead and preparing a compelling case will always be better than shooting from the hip. Being able to tell a story and to hold people's attention is a great skill that is really worth developing. In our business, not everyone is the same, and I'm the first to say I'm not the strongest engineer or project manager that Waterman employs. We need a variety of skills to deliver our work, and we need all types of people to be inspired in the work that they do best. As you move forward in your careers, please think about the different characteristics that are required to deliver the best result. Consider what part you think you can play and then work hard. Build up relationships with those around you to ensure that they trust and value your opinion, effort, and contribution. Work hard but spare time to engage with people and to allow your personality to develop, and most of all, enjoy what you do. I'm certain that everyone in the room aspires to be happy, wishes to achieve success, and in time will provide inspiration to others. When I graduated, I did not know that I had the capabilities to do the job that I do today, but I now realize it was by accepting help from others, by listening and learning, and by allowing myself to evolve as my experience developed that has led to my own achievements. Your relationship with people is so vital. Remember, you're more likely to be valued if you're trusted, so always respect others and be inspired by what you see, hear and imagine, and you will have the potential to realise your own ambitions. My work continues to be interesting at Waterman, as Waterman has recently been acquired by a Japanese consultancy, CTI Engineering. And once again, my life takes on new challenges and a new dimension, which I'm already finding inspirational. So may I wish you all success and happiness in the years ahead, and congratulations on your achievements so far.